My marriage lasted exactly 11 days. We hadn't even finished unpacking the wedding gifts before a dead silence took over our new home. I look at the wedding photo on the mantle, and I don't recognize the man smiling there. That night, he died to me, even though his heart keeps beating. It all started with a toast. My brother, the man I considered my shadow, stood up with a glass in his hand. He was always the life of the party, a master of jokes. But what he said was no joke. It was a bullet fired straight into my heart, but it passed right through my wife, Anya. You know, we all have a room in our souls where we let no one in. Anya let me in. She told me about her deepest pain, a mistake from her youth that she had blamed herself for years, about how she had been betrayed in the past, and how hard it was for her to trust a man again. She was trembling as she told me, and I swore on the Bible that this secret would die with me. But 2 years before the wedding, at one of those parties where alcohol loosens tongues, I did something inexcusable. I wanted to brag to my brother about how deep my relationship with Anya was. I told him everything. I sold her trust for 5 minutes of fake male brotherhood. I thought he'd understand. I thought he'd keep it. Then came the wedding, the best day of our lives. Anya looked like an angel. I felt like the luckiest man in the world. Until my brother took the microphone. You know, he began, smirking slyly at the guests. Anya is a very complicated girl. My brother went through a real trial to accept her, along with all that London baggage she hates talking about. The room erupted in laughter. People who didn't know the context took it as typical wedding banter, but I saw the color drain from Anya's face. She didn't cry, she just turned to stone. In that second, I realized I had just destroyed everything we had built with my own hands. She was perfect for the rest of the evening. She danced with my father, cut the cake, thanked the guests. She was a professional wife at the funeral of her own happiness. When we got to the hotel, she didn't scream. She just sat on the bed, still in her wedding dress, and asked, "How did he know?" I tried to lie. I tried to say he guessed it himself, but her gaze cut deeper than any knife. I confessed. I told her how I'd had too much to drink, how I wanted to feel like one of the guys. She looked at me as if she was seeing me for the first time. "You didn't just tell a story," she said softly. "You gave me to him for his amusement. You took my rawest vulnerability and auctioned it off in front of 100 people." She stayed in the house for 11 days. For 11 days, we lived like ghosts. She made breakfast, she went to work, but she wasn't really there. On the 11th day, I came home from work to an empty closet. On the 11th day, I came home from work to an empty closet. On the table lay her wedding ring and a short note. "I can forgive an enemy, but I can never again trust a guard who opened the door for the killer himself." My brother called me a week later. He said, "Dude, come on, it was just a joke, don't be so dramatic." I deleted his number. I no longer have a brother. I no longer have a wife. All I have left is this silence, which reminds me every day, words have a price, and sometimes that price is your entire life. Friends, what do you think? Are there betrayals that can never be forgiven, even if it was just a word? Do I deserve a second chance? Let me know in the comments. I'll read every single one.